JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 9th of July 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday morning session. Do apologize for a quick small delay. Just had a few technical issues here, but hopefully everything's kind of back to normal. Now, as always guys, before we jump into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. So, okay, so once again, as I said, I do apologize for the slight late start, but yeah, for now, like I said, let's see what the market has kind of prepared for us today. So, as always, guys, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top once it loads up. Yep, so there we go, that's the one that I'm talking about. So quick update on what's happening here globally. So of course the figure has managed to overcome the 12 million mark. Some other resources suggest that the figure is much higher than this, at around 12,170. 12,170,000. So of course that is logical, because we had another sharp spike in cases. So unfortunately, of course, but yeah, that's the current situation right now. The so-called leaderboard of total confirmed cases is US, Brazil, and India, and then the total by the leaderboard of the amount of deaths is US, Brazil, and then United Kingdom. So so yeah, although United Kingdom does not have let's say as much as Russia or Peru has, okay, the cases, I've been talking about cases, it still has more deaths than those countries that I've mentioned right now. So again, not a very let's say pleasant situation there, but of course hopefully everybody manages to get out of all this. Now jumping into a few charts very quickly. So the first one I want to touch on here is the Shanghai Composite. I talked about this one yesterday, and basically I was drawing these Fibonacci levels here, but as you can see, the rally continues here and the index continues to push further north. The index today is trading again in the positive territory, and today, for example, it managed to reach already the area near the 3,457 zone, which well, for now, don't get me wrong, it might get overshot as well, because the day is not finished for Shanghai Composite. It still has around 50 minutes to run, so we'll see how all this is going to play out. But again, for now, everything's looking quite positive. In a way of trying to find another potential area of resistance here, well, in a way we have to go back here to levels that we saw here in February 2018, or even in the end of January 2018. But again, for now, let's see where this pair is going to end up going. Of course, the highest point of 2018 here is near this level right here. Let me just put this one on the chart very quickly. So there we go. So that's roughly around the 3,587 zone. So of course we'll keep a close eye on that one. It will be quite interesting to see if we can actually reach that level. But the question here, if we could reach that level, would we see first a bit of a correction and then a push higher? Because again, looking at this daily chart here, you can see how sharp this spike is right now. So yep, like I said, for now we're looking for that good possible area of resistance, one of which could be this little high right here, the high of the 6th of February of 2018. Let me just quickly double check that. No, that's the 5th of February, 5th of February 2018, and that's roughly around the 3,487 zone. So basically just slightly above today's high. So let's see if the index has enough kind of power to kind of test this area, maybe even today. Let's jump into Nikkei. Nikkei is stuck here. So on the one hand, it's kind of trading above this little short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 9th of June on the other, which could be seen as a positive as well. And of course, another little positive could be the fact that it's also still balancing above this 21-day EMA. However, as you can see, after reaching this level here, the 22,734 this week, it kind of drifted back down. Today it did have an attempt to move closer to this area. It did so, but didn't really reach this the current highest point of this week. And yep, it kind of drifted back down. However, it still remains above the 21-day EMA. In addition to that, we can also, for example, draw, let me just quickly shift this upside line here, this little short-term upside line, for example. We still remain above it, and in a way, we can say that as long as it stays intact, then yes, we could consider the upside as the more possible scenario. However, we would prefer maybe to wait for at least for a push maybe for above the high of this week, the current high of this week, and then yes, aim for higher levels. The next target of which, where next target could be the highest point of June near the 23,186 territory, a break of which of course would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and the index could continue traveling higher. But again, for now, let's keep it short and simple. Let's aim for the highest point of June first, but for that we need to see a nice good pop above the current highest point of this week. Jumping into the DAX here, so the index is drifting a little bit lower, and let me just quickly have a look at what's happening here on the cash index. And yep, we can see that the German DAX is correcting a little bit lower. It's currently trading at around 12,000, and well, actually correcting, I mean, it is above yesterday's close. So basically, okay, so let me rephrase all that. Now, the cash index accelerated yesterday on the kind of together with the US and equities, and yep, right now the price is currently balancing at around 12,600 level, and basically that's above yesterday's close. So we'll have a nice little opening gap. Probably we'll have a nice opening gap here to the upside. However, it's still this would still be below this level here, the 12,658 territory that I talked about yesterday. So we would like to see it maybe at least a push above it in order to kind of consider some higher levels. However, as I've mentioned before, the more comfortable area after a break of which we could aim for some higher levels would be, or should I say could be, near the highest point of June, near the 12,913 zone. Such a move would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and the index could travel further north. For now, the fact that the little thing that I was talking about here, the little pattern that I was talking about on Tuesday, this little island reversal kind of idea, for now it seems to be working out. However, as I've mentioned before, that even if we do see this one drifting a little bit lower, don't forget that we're still trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March, and in a way, the move lower here up until this upside line could still be seen as a temporary correction before another leg of buying. Now then, jumping into gold, gold continues to rally nicely, and of course the fact that it managed to overcome the psychological 1800 level and stay above it, and today we're seeing a continuation move here to the upside. However, we're still below the yesterday's high, and the yesterday's high was near the, let me just quickly put this one on the chart, it was near 1818 level. So given that we already had a decent kind of acceleration here to the upside, we will take it carefully here, and if we do see a push above yesterday's high, then yes, we will aim for some higher levels, but as I've mentioned before, we'll keep it, like I said, we'll keep it short and simple. For now, we're just going to target the 1827 level. We'll see how it performs around here, and then yep, we'll take it from there. Of course, don't get me wrong, as I mentioned before, and if I jump back into a monthly chart here, of course, there are some bunch of good levels here, and one of the levels that we're keeping an eye on here is the 1921 territory, which is marked by the all-time high for gold. So good one to watch. Of course, don't get me wrong, in a way the commodity could drift a little bit higher, but it may find some resistance somewhere here and then correct back down. So before, let's say, potentially traveling towards that all-time high again. But again, for now, let's be very careful here. Let's keep an eye on yesterday's high near the 1818 level. A nice good push above it could open the door towards the next little resistance level near the 1827 zone. So yep, and in terms of the downside, we need to see at least a break of this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 5th of June in order to, let's say, maybe start looking at some lower levels. Now, previously, in the beginning of this week, I was talking about this level here, the 1748 zone, but given that the commodity has moved a little bit further north, the possible kind of level after a break of which we could maybe aim for slightly lower levels could come around here near the 1789 90 zone, roughly around here, guys. That's marked by the high of the 1st of July, and then yes, we could, like I said, we could maybe consider a bit of a decline. Now, jumping into WTI oil, just a quick update here. Not much is happening, not much interesting stuff. Still the same idea, still is slowly grinding higher. However, it still remains below this 200-day EMA and also the 41.61 level, which is marked by the highest point of June. We need that confirmation break in order to get excited about higher levels. And in terms of the downside, we would wait for at least a drop below the 21-day EMA, and ideally a daily close below the 21-day EMA in order to consider some, let's say, further declines. But again, for now, it's closer to this barrier. It's closer to the 200-day EMA. Let's see if WTI oil can overcome this 41.61 territory. If it can, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yep, a further move north could be possible. Now, jumping into Ripple, Ripple is pushing nicely to the upside, and I talked about this one this week, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye, first of all, on this downside line, which is taken from the high of the 30th of April and which got broken. So we had a nice daily close yesterday above it. So as you can see, today the commodity did already retrace a little bit lower. It almost came close to testing the 100-day EMA from above, but the bulls kind of quickly pushed it back up here, and yep, now we're still kind of, let's say, we're still bullish on this one, but we'll be very careful near the 200-day EMA and near the 0.2152 level marked by the highest point of June, and these are going to be our main targets for now. So let's see how all this is going to play out. In case of in terms of the downside, well, we would need to see this one at least pushing back below this downside line, and then yes, the lower levels could be met. AD and ZD, so still the same game plan remains. I talked about this pair yesterday and the day before yesterday, so we're still keeping an eye on this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 2nd of June, but at the same time we're keeping an eye on this little support area near the 1.0582 territory, a nice break of which would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, more sellers could be joining in here. Initially, of course, we do have this little obstacle on the way here in the 200-day EMA, but if that is just seen as a, as I said, as a temporary obstacle, then a break of it, yep, could lead to some further decline. So for now, basically, we're probably going to take a bit of a neutral stand, or maybe even cautiously bearish, but to be honest, again, probably we're gonna be on a little bit on the neutral side on this pair. So, and we'll wait for a clear breakthrough one of those levels. GBP NZD, another one that I looked at yesterday, and here, for example, the pound is kind of picking up the pace, as we can see here, and after quite a decent rally to the, well, not rally, but a decent slide, the pair is finally showing some, the bulls of this pair are finally showing some life. And yep, today we're seeing a kind of a push, an attempt to push higher, because again, for now we'll be very careful, because as you can see, the rate is currently stuck near the high of yesterday, and that's roughly around the 1.9209 level. So a nice push above it could, yep, open the door towards higher levels. The next target here could be around the 21-day EMA, which also coincides with the 1.9312 territory, and that one is the lowest point of October 2019. So again, keep your eyes on this little barrier, the high of yesterday. A nice good pop above it could, yep, open the door towards slightly higher levels. We're not going to drag this one way too much to the upside, because like I said, for now it's still very tricky. Yes, the fact that it managed to break this downside line, of course, gives a bit of hope for the buyers. These oscillators that we have here on our daily chart, the RSI and the MACD, are also starting to kind of move away from their lows, but still not really. We need to see, for example, at least the RSI kind of moving above the 50 territory and the MACD kind of moving back above zero. So again, for now, that's why it's a little bit tricky here. Yes, we could aim for some higher levels, but maybe not much. Now, US dollar against the Chinese yuan, the offshore one, and yesterday I talked about this pair, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this idea where, yes, we could see a bit of a correction here. We had that, and you can see that the pair is now continues to the downside, as everything's kind of working out nicely. So yes, we got that little correction here to the upside, and now the pair is drifting towards the 6.95 territory, marked by the low of the 13th of March. Now I talked about this one, so this is going to be our first target. Of course, below that we do have the lowest point of March here, but first, like I said, let's aim for that low of the 13th of March near the 6.95 zone. USDCHF, so this one is drifting nicely to the downside, and as you can see, yesterday, for example, the pair, I was covering this one yesterday, and yesterday when I was covering, we were still kind of hanging around here near this lower bound of the range. So what I was saying, that still we are leaning a little bit more to the downside, but we'll be very careful. But as you can see, yesterday we had this nice move lower. It ended up testing the lowest point of June, ended up overcoming it, and today we're seeing a continuation fall here. And for now, our next little possible target and possible area of support could be near the 0.9322 level, marked by the low on 12th of March. And in a way, for now, like I said, that's what we're going to be aiming for. We'll see how it performs around here, but yeah, for now we're leaning a little bit more to the downside on this one. And finally Euro USD. So this is what I talked about yesterday. So yesterday we had a nice spike here to the upside, but what I was saying, that as long as it kind of stays below this 1.1353 level, yes, we'll still remain somewhat bullish, but we'll be very careful if it struggles to overcome this barrier. But yesterday the pair drifted higher, tested this area, found resistance here, and kind of drifted back down and closed the daily candle below it. So today we're seeing a nice move higher, and today we're seeing a nice stronger push north, and it managed to overcome this 1.1353 level. Currently the rate is balancing just fractionally above this, so still everything's looking quite positive. And in a way, if we do see that daily candle staying above this, then yep, a further acceleration to the upside could be possible. Initially we'll target the highest point of June near the 1.1422 territory, a break of which could open the door towards the highest point of March, or even which is the highest point of of this year. So and that's near the 1.1496 level. So like I said, for now guys, everything's looking quite interesting for the buyers. So let's see if they can continue dictating the rules here. In terms of the downside, well, I mean, for now it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table unless this pair starts drifting back below this downside line taken from the high of the 10th of June. So again, I do understand it's quite a big territory here, but to be honest, it could drift lower. It could find support near the 21-day EMA as it did here, for example, previously, and reverse back to the upside. So that's why do not exclude such a scenario as well, guys. So that's why probably maybe we could look at some lower levels if we get a drop back below this this downside line, or even better, this 1.1168 territory. So guys, I really hope you found it useful. So thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you want to catch my video later on, which is tea time, as always, 13:15 GMT time. But for now, guys, I hope you have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. That's the most important, health-wise and market-wise. And yep, everything will be fine. So yep, guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.